it's Stephanie, your in-house product expert with Hatching Time, and today we're going to be unboxing the CT180. Now, I do recommend that you have two people to manage one of these, but overall they're not very heavy. As you can see here, I'm easily able to lift this box. So now that we have our 180 out of the box, we're going to put the power cord to the side on the table, and then I'm just going to show you really quickly basic setup on how to get this thing up on the table. So now our 180 is up on the table, and as you open it up, you're going to notice it is full of all kinds of stuff, including some packing material, your hatching baskets, your water tanks, and your Turner rows. Now this is the CT180 incubator hatcher combo. This tabletop unit comes with 6 of each of your turning trays in your hatching baskets. So that's all going to come together so you can set up this unit any way that you want to. Now, as we are removing parts, please be mindful of the top of your incubator. That is your sensor. So you don't want to accidentally bend or break that in removing these parts. Now that we have the unit completely unpacked, you can see I have all of our Turner rows installed in the unit currently. They're not plugged in, but for the most part, you can see that this unit comes fully assembled, and we'll go over that now. Now that we have all of our parts unpacked, let's make sure that the unit has come with all of the necessary parts to operate. We have 6 hatching baskets, which I'll show you how to assemble those. Our pins for the hatching baskets. This is our Humasonic water tray, which we will do an assembly for. Our water tank, 1 gallon for the top of the incubator. This is going to be our Contour power adapter. Our lids for our water reservoirs. And then, of course, our Humasonic humidity control system, which runs the humidity in the unit. So now that we have all of our parts for our incubator, we know that they're all here and accounted for. We're going to go ahead and assemble the things that we need. Okay, so the first things first, we're going to work on our Humasonic. So this handy dandy little piece obviously comes with this lid. You can tell that they fit. And then this is going to be your feeder tube that's going to go up to this water reservoir. So there is a little portion right here on the back of this, that little nipple that hangs out, that this tube just fits over, okay? It's going to fit kind of tight and snug. You want that because you don't want it leaking. So there you go. And it's going to be a snug fit. Okay. This is your floater valve to tell it to stop filling with water, so you're not obviously running over with water all the time. Then you're going to take your little Humasonic. It's important now to untangle this cord. You also want to make sure that your little disc is in here. Now, what's important about this disc is that this is the disc that creates the vapor that allows humidity to enter your incubator. What's important about that is that you need to be using distilled water. Otherwise, you're going to fry that disc, clog that disc up, and your Humasonic's going to stop working. And then we get a lot of phone calls of people saying they need a new Humasonic, and they're using tap water, well water, city water, whatever, in the unit, and they're just clogging up that Humasonic disc and frying it. You don't actually need a new Humasonic. You need a new disc. But using distilled water from the very beginning will get away with all of that. What I can tell you is that I have ran 2 CT120s since the fall of 2022, and I've never had to replace a disc to this point. Now, they say that you should replace them every 6 months to a year. That's just my experience. So now that you've got this down in there, and there are, as you can see, if you look in there, there's some little raised areas. This little Humasonic sits right down inside that little circle of raised area. And then your cord can just hang off the side like this. And then your lid has a notch, as you can see there, for the cord. And then your lid just sits just like that. Now we're going to set that to the side. I'm just going to go over these parts one more time. Your egg turner has a power cord. This is going to be the power cord for your incubator. The lid for your water reservoir, which we were just talking about. And then, of course, your egg trays. I'm going to show you really quickly how to assemble your egg trays. They're very simple, very user-friendly. Each piece is identical. But as you'll see at the tops, in all 4 corners, you have these little holes. These little holes are made for these little pegs to go into. So for each one, you're going to need 4 of these little pegs. I have 3 in my hand, excuse me. And then they just sit snugly down into these corners. I always set them on the bottom ones because even though they fit snugly, sometimes they do like to fall out, just like that. All right, and then your top just fits right on top. So when you're ready to use your hatchers, you're just going to assemble those just like so. And no, the chicks can't pop them open. So there are your hatching baskets. Now I'm just going to show you how easily they fit into this unit. So you're just going to remove your egg tray from the top of the unit, set it to the side, and you're just going to slide your hatching basket right onto the top here, like so. And like I said, as you see here, I have now 5. Obviously, I would put these at the bottom if you wanted to organize this unit to do both, but you have your hatching basket and then also your turners. So what I'm saying is if you're going to hatch chicks and incubate at the same time, make sure your hatching basket's at the bottom so all of that chick dander, dust, and everything isn't falling down onto your eggs. I'm just using this as an example so you can see how easily they fit into the unit. That being said, I'm going to take this opportunity to go over our egg turners. So the unique thing about the CT120, 180, and CT60 is that they each have their own individual turning row with its own motor. So that means that allows for the flexibility of setting the unit up any way that you want. 2 rows for hatching, 4 rows for setting, 5 rows for setting, 1 row for hatching, all as a hatcher, all as a setter, whatever you want to do. These are a completely non-vibrational motor, and it turns so slowly that you won't be able to see it. So there's no button for you to check the turners, but what we always recommend is if you're worried that they're not working, you can touch this motor. If it's vibrating, if it has a little vibration to it, it's working. The other thing we recommend you do is you can take a look at the eggs after about 45 minutes and see if they're in a different position. Plugging in your egg motors is super easy. Over here on the side of your incubator, you're going to have these little outlet plugs. This one obviously goes for the top. We don't have one in there now. And you're going to have enough for each one of your turner rows. You just need to locate the plugs and plug in like such all the way down for all of your rows that you're going to be using as turners. And to remove them, you just do the same, unplug. Now let's go back to our humidity unit. As you've seen, we installed the Humasonic in here with the cord hanging out. We've got the lid on, just make sure that cord is going through the hole. The lid doesn't have to be on there like a vise. It's just going to set on there. You have your feeder tube, and then you guys will all see this port that sticks out here in the side of your incubator. You're going to have a port, and this literally just snugly fits into there. I'm going to take the lid off, just makes this a little bit easier. It just snugly slides in. It's not really hard. You're not going to break it. It just sits in just like that. So once you've got that in there, you can adjust your Humasonic once again. You can set your lid on, feed your power cord through it, just like that. Now you're going to come up to the top, and this is very important. You want to make sure you're using the right power plug on the right side of the incubator. We're going to plug that in a second. I'm going to go ahead and connect this to the Humasonic. Plug it in so it'll be ready when we connect that power. Now we're going to take our 1-gallon water reservoir. Now this is essentially just for making sure that this unit has water. You can adapt and modify our larger reservoirs, but I find that 1 gallon lasts a good amount of time. So we're going to set this on top of the incubator, obviously for gravity feeding, right? You're going to take this feeder tube, and as you can see up here, it's got a filter and a nipple just like this does. And we are going to just snug that on there just like we did the other one until it fits nice. And there you have it. And then we're going to put the lid back on there. So now our humidity system is installed. Now at the top of the incubator, up here on the control box, as we were talking about for the Humasonic, you want to make sure that you plug in the right one for the right side. This says Humasonic. On the incubator itself, it says Humasonic. You're just going to take that and plug it in just like that. Now you're going to locate your Contourn AC power adapter. Now you're going to come to the other side of the incubator, locate the adapter sticking out of the top of the incubator from the turning motors and the conturn plug. Once you have your conturn plugged in, you're going to locate the end of the adapter and connect these together. Now we are going to plug our power cord into the back of the control panel. And you will notice back here you have your fuse box located between the power button and where you plug in the power adapter. And then, of course, up in the top right-hand corner, you have your exterior filter and then all of your controls going into the back of the incubator where the fan is located in the heating element. Secure the power plug tightly on the back of the incubator and connect to your power source. Now, on the back side of your incubator, when you open the door, you're going to notice your fan. Directly behind your fan, you're going to notice your heating element. And then, of course, the light bulb, which you can run from the front of your incubator. Once you have everything plugged in, you have some water in your water reservoir in the back. You can go ahead and reach to the back of this incubator where I showed you the power cord was. Fire it up. Make sure your incubator turns on. Begins the process of showing you here. This is going to be your temperature, and below is going to be your humidity. So this unit is going to be set at 50 for your humidity, 99.8 for your temperature. Now pushing the little light button up here will allow for the light to come on in the incubator, and you can actually just view it through the porthole to see that it's actually working. Once again, this is Stephanie, your Hatching Time in-house expert. Thank you for joining me today as I unbox the CT180 incubator. And make sure you drop your comments and questions below. Let me know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future, and be sure to give us a follow for more.